What's up, you guys? I am Ania. Welcome back to my channel. Hope all is well with you guys today. Y'all, I want to talk today about embracing change because that's something that we as humans, we don't really like to embrace change. We don't really like change. It's almost like we think that complacency is key, as if God created us just to remain the same. God didn't create the world for nothing to remain the same, which is why we have so much evolution as time has went on. So if God created us to be spiritual beings in human bodies, in a living body that grows, why do we think that we're not supposed to have change? And why when change comes, we're not receptive of it. Because it's like if you just sit and analyze everything of the world, everything grows, everything changes. Your seasons change, the days change, the times change, the way the sun set and the way it rises, and everything changes. The sky changes, the clouds change. Nothing is the same every day. Your trees change. They start off as little babies, they grow up to be big trees too. Our kids start off as little babies, they grow up to be our size, and then older. We are evolving. Everything that is a living organism is supposed to evolve. So when it's time to evolve, we have to embrace everything that comes with the evolution process. Don't be one of those people that, you're praying for things and you're hoping for things and you're, making vision boards and, you're manifesting and you're doing all these things. But then when God is starting to shift your life up, now you're like, oh, hold up. I'm not ready for that. You're praying to get out of certain situations, to get to a new environment. You're praying for a newfound freedom. You're praying for new income. You're praying for new love. You're praying for new houses. You're praying for new everything. But when it comes time to make the shift and make the change, we're not receptive of it. We're hesitant. We're scared because we don't know what the next step is. And this is why we just have to have faith. We have to not ever get complacent in no area of life. If we observe why a lot of our relationships start to taint, it's because somewhere along the line, somebody got complacent or both parties got complacent. You're not putting in that same effort that you was putting in the beginning to get that person. You think that what you did to get a person is not what you got to do to keep them, or you don't think you need to add on to that, because sometimes people get with people and you didn't require as much, and then people think because you didn't require as much to get the person, now you got to keep that same flow. But ultimately, when you evolving and when you growing, you want to magnify things. You want to make things better. You never want to do something and just be okay with the starting point. Even in your workforce, when you're at work, when you just starting a new career, okay, what you doing on week 1 is not the same way you're gonna be moving in year 5 of being in that industry. You're gonna grow and evolve and learn more and obtain more and start to do things. You're gonna know other tricks to the trade. You're gonna know how to simplify things. You're gonna be able to observe things differently and know where you need to make changes to better produce greater results. So we just have to understand that everything evolves, everything is growing. If it wasn't for everything that previous generations did, we wouldn't have all the innovations that we have now. Us having easy access to have our groceries delivered, us having easy access to have an Uber, that stuff wasn't even around when I was in college. That's why I say these new kids, I can only imagine, like, my great-grandmother was 104 years old when she died last year. I know when she was young, even when our moms, like, well, my mom, because, I don't know how old everybody is, but even with my mom, looking back at some of their pictures and to see their cars back then and look how over time things has changed. Just in 5 short years, in 3 short years, look how much things has changed. When I was in college, there was no DoorDash, there was no Uber Eats, there was no Uber, there was no Lyft. Was it? Nah, we didn't have that. At least I ain't know of it. I ain't know of it until I turned like 21, because I caught my first Lyft and stuff when we was out in Cali. But this time has changed things. Evolution is key. But we think that we're supposed to get places just by staying the same, just by just letting all the opportunities, we think opportunities are going to show up at our doorstep. We think new love, and we think, you know, our new faith, and we think all the blessings that we are asking for is just going to show up at our doorstep, and knock on the door and say, hey, I'm here. It don't always present itself like that, and that's what we need to understand. We have to be receptive of the new. We have to be receptive of change. We have to be receptive of it. Nothing worth having comes easy, and you're going to have to do certain things. You're going to have to get uncomfortable. Your greatest blessings, your greatest gifts, your greatest joy is going to come through you getting uncomfortable. Some people want new love, but yet you stay in the house all the time. How you gonna find new love and you always in the house? What you think that dream person gonna come knock at your door? Or what you hoping to just meet them at the grocery store? You don't know what your situation is going to be. That means you got to put yourself in positions to be seen. Put yourself in positions to be caught, to be courted. You got to put yourself in these positions, and that comes in all areas of life. Even with our faith in God, with our relationship, we think, oh, we got saved. Oh, ma'am, can you stop all that noise? We be thinking, oh, I got saved 5 years ago. I got baptized as a child, so I'm good for life. You know, they'll put y'all put yourselves in these boxes, you know, as Christians and all of this stuff. And you'd be like, well, I'm a Christian because my family was a Christian, and I'm a whatever other belief you have, or whatever box you put yourself into when it comes to that. And you think, oh, I'm good. I mean, I'm covered by the blood. I'm covered by the blood of Jesus, just because Jesus died for my sins. So I don't have to do nothing else to maintain my relationship with God. I mean, Jesus did it all for me. I don't got to do nothing. That's not how it works. Everybody got to put work in. You have to maintain things. You have to maintain your relationship with God. You can't think that you're going to have a relationship with God last year and you don't even pray. You don't talk to him no more. You don't be in your word. You don't do nothing. You don't be fasting. You don't do nothing to seek that intimacy with him. You don't do nothing to seek the intimacy, but yet you think you're going to still have a locked-in relationship like that. No, that's something you have to continuously work on. That's something you have to continuously do. You have to continuously have faith. You have to continuously have that. You can't say, oh, I was faithful a couple years ago. I had faith a couple years ago, but then stuff started getting bad, and now I just lost my faith. And now you think you're going to prosper within your relationship with God like that, when no, one of the key ingredients to having a healthy, successful, close, intimate relationship with God is having faith that he can do. Having faith in the unseen. And we're gonna do a video later about that, because I wanted to read the little the Matthew scripture and stuff. So that's gonna be a video later. This is just a quick video about us learning how to embrace change. Embrace change. Stop getting complacent. We are not meant to get complacent, and this is why God will shift things up, because he knows humans. He knows humans. He created us. He knows us. He knows we get something, we get complacent. It's just something of the flesh. I think this is why they say, like, we're literally born into sin, because we made of flesh, and flesh has sinful desires. The way flesh operates, you know, we're gonna be getting more into this, but because when we go over these sins in the upcoming weeks, I got so many videos I need to do, y'all. Like, so just bear with me, because there'll be so many things that I want to talk about and touch on. When it comes to all of this, you know, I gotta be doing, I got so much to do. I gotta be doing our Bible history as the black folk. I gotta do that type of reading and studying. Then I be having to do the good versus evil studying, and just, it be so much that I have to cover. So I'm just trying to prepare my stuff and get in order with that. But one of the deadly sins is sloth. And, you know, the other one that I'm gonna be touching on is lust in the upcoming videos. Like, before October is out, I'm gonna be dropping these videos. I just took like a week off of posting videos, for real. So I'm gonna be dropping them like it's hot again, about several different things, because it's all relevant. It's all things that we need to know. But one thing is, we need to understand that the flesh has desires. It has its own desires. It is eager for things. And then oftentimes the flesh gets comfortable. It gets complacent. It gets complacent. Hold on. But yeah, you guys, so the flesh it naturally wants to rest. But the spiritual being in us doesn't rest. The spirits roam, spirits move like the clouds do. Clouds don't stay in one space. As I'm watching right now, the cloud is moving. And if you know, we going that's a whole nother. But one thing about it is reading Enoch, it made me realize it really connects a lot of questions that I've had about the spiritual realm and about the spiritual forces and the connection to God's creation. So it's really interesting. But we're spiritual beings, so we roam. We like to do things, and we like to do that. But the flesh of us will get complacent. The flesh of us likes to just rest easy in an area. Like, this is why we like, oh, I'm just tired. I just want to stay here. This is why a lot of times we stay stuck. We stay stuck in the same positions, in the same jobs, in the same dead-end jobs, same dead-end relationships, same dead-end mindsets, these same degenerate minds, because we get complacent with what we know. It takes work to want to do more and achieve more, no matter what area that is. Even with self-development, with personal development, we be like, oh, I am who I am. I'm this way. It is what it is. I don't have no desire to, want to learn how to control my emotions. I don't have no desire to want to learn how to have empathy, to how to learn how to become motivated. I'm okay with being lackadaisical. The spirit on us is eager for that change. That's why we having these urges, but a lot of times we don't move on these urges because we're not in tune with ourselves. We're not in tune with who we are in the inside. So we don't move on it. We don't listen to our intuition because we're not in tune with ourselves, because we end up becoming worldly. We end up becoming of our flesh and soaking into that. And that's why we stay complacent. This is why we get our blessings and we get complacent. We get lackadaisical with it. We feel like we don't have to work to maintain it. We don't feel like we have to work to upkeep nothing. No, everything requires upkeep. Your house requires upkeep. Your lawn, your grass, like everything grows. Everything evolves. So you have to know how to upkeep it. You have to know how to maintain it. You have to do the trimming when you need to. You have to do the touching up when you need to. And that's the same way we have to do within our own selves. You growing in age. Okay, you need to touch this up about yourself. Okay, you growing and you're this age now. The things you used to be able to do 5-10 years ago when you were younger, when you were a teenager, when you were in your 20s, or when you were in your 30s, wherever you are in your life right now, the things you once used to be able to do, you shouldn't be comfortable doing all those same things that you once used to do. You shouldn't be on the same level as a teenager mentally. And that's one issue that I see within us as humans, especially because a lot of us are unhealed from our traumas. A lot of us stay stuck as that little 5, 10, 18-year-old, 15-year-old, whatever age that the trauma started. We stay in a mental state of that little girl and that little boy that was traumatized. We stay in there. That's how our emotions operate. We operate strictly off of that inner child that's in us. We operate off of that. And some of us, because when we were those young children, we had so much responsibility, so much pressure on us. We don't know how to just be a child. And this is why also sometimes when you, hey, can you be quiet? Sometimes when we in these adult bodies, we have a lot of inner child ways, because it's that inner child that wants to be a child that never got to be a child when you were younger. So it's about having equilibrium with it, knowing when it's time to, let your inner child run free. I know me, that's why I like going to the playground, being on the swings, all of that stuff, because that's that inner child of me. I like to play with my kids, get on the slide, do all of that stuff. I like to do that with them. I'm silly, just like I always have been, but when you got certain kind of parents and stuff, and then they don't like when you being all silly and stuff, they want you to be stern because they all stern and they all boring and dry, so the people be wanting you to be dry like that. But when you coming into yourself, when you get and becoming one with yourself, you're gonna be able to embrace who you truly are. You're gonna be able to accept the changes that you're making. Other people might not be able to accept it. This is why you got people out here who be like, oh, you changed. Baby, I'm growing physically. Why would I not be changing mentally too? Why would I be that same woman, that same person that I was when I met you 5 years ago? When I met you a year ago? Why would I be that same person? I'm evolving. Surely as these trees are growing and evolving, surely as my children are growing and evolving, I should be growing too. If I cap out and stop growing and my kids keep growing, that means I'm gonna be thinking like them. I'm gonna be on a level, and I'm supposed to be the adult. I'm supposed to be able to teach them. I'm supposed to have more experience and more wisdom to be able to train my children up in a way that they should go, so that they can continue to elevate and thrive and be really ready and prepared for the world. So if I'm not growing, if I'm capped out, what am I gonna be able to teach my kids? So we have to stop being complacent. We have to embrace the change. We have to be okay with outgrowing people, outgrowing places, outgrowing things. Things I used to do, things I used to like, I don't like that no more. Food I used to eat, food I used to like, I don't like that no more. All that processed food, I realize now that I'm growing up, I don't like things that I used to do, like that I used to like. When I was in college and I would eat them burritos at the Dollar Tree and all that, I can't even, that stuff tastes weird. Hot Pockets even taste nasty now. Like, I am growing. My taste buds are changing. That's something I tell my daughter. I can't wait till your taste buds grow up. Like, we're evolving. We're supposed to evolve. That's a part of God's creation. He did not create us to stay stagnant and to stay stuck. If that's the case, everything that we reap the benefits off of now that brings us pleasure, we wouldn't have it. Look at just simple things you have. Just, anything. Like, these things that we exist, that we love, that we just have, if it wasn't for evolving, if it wasn't for technology advancing, if it wasn't for, creative minds, if it wasn't for people evolving and doing what the average person won't do, if they wouldn't take that risk, if they didn't, apply their abilities, if they didn't use their skills and talents that God gave them, we wouldn't have the music that we love to listen to. Be careful over there. We wouldn't have the good music that we like to listen to. We wouldn't have the items that we use on our body and stuff that we like. If it wasn't for people taking the initiative and doing something different and embracing the change and going the way in the direction that God is calling you to go in. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have all the fancy things and, the things that bring us joy. We wouldn't have all of those things if people would not evolve, if technology, if our systems, if the things of the world that produces, if these things did not change and evolve, look at how now, like, I was looking at the Amazon truck yesterday. I was like, is the Amazon truck an electric truck? Like, come on now, Bezos. I know you got a whole, because it sounds electric and it got like a little screen, because they be out here and then, I be close up on it. And I'm like, look at how technology is advancing. Look at how life has changed. When I was growing up, I remember we had dial-up internet. All the way we can just get on. It was a point when I was in high school, when I had my boyfriend in high school, and my mom took me on, where we go to, like St. Martin or something like that. We went out of the country, and during that time, you had to pay for international calling. Like, you had to pay for that plan on your phone. I didn't have that plan on my phone, so I used to hate when I have to go out of the country, leave my boyfriend behind and everything, and I couldn't even talk to him unless I try to call from the hotel, and then only talk for a little bit because it charged. The times have changed. I can go to Puerto Rico now. I can go out the country now, and I can talk anywhere. I can talk anywhere. I can get on Wi-Fi anywhere. Whereas at one point, you got to be in the house with that box computer, with that dial-up internet that actually makes that dial-up noise just to log onto the internet. We don't have that now. It's because of things change. It's because of the evolvement. So surely, if technology is advancing, if the other things of the world, all these outside sources, if this stuff is advancing to make it more beneficial to us, so now that we don't have to pay extra every time we get ready to go out of the country, and we already, our plan alone can cover that. We ain't got to make no extra calls about getting service out in these other countries. Our phone's already set up now. We ain't got to do all this extra stuff. Our cameras have evolved. Y'all see they drop a new iPhone every year, and most times, I don't get a new iPhone every year because I don't do all that. But most times the camera changed. It'll be a certain feature that changed. It's the innovation, like innovation. This thing that my phone is on, this tripod, this ain't once used to exist. The ring lights and everything else, LED lighting, everything that makes our lives better, that enhances our lives, It would never have came about if change wasn't embraced. And we embraced it because we love what it does for us. So surely if these outside sources are changing, why don't we want to change? And why don't we embrace the change when it's coming? And it's because of the journey. We don't like the journey that we have to go through, which is what we're going to talk about in the video later. We don't like the journey that we have to take to get to the result. We want to take the elevator to success. We want to take the elevator to love. We want to take everything. We want it quick. We want everything quick. Humans want things quick. We want things quick. We want instant gratification. That's a trait of the flesh. Wanting that quick stuff. Wanting those desires needed, those desires met. We want that stuff met instantly. We don't want to wait. We don't want to have patience. We don't want to wait on God for him to bring our kingdom spouse to us. We want to do it ourselves. We want to get in our own way. We don't want to wait on him to show us what our purpose is, to show why he created us, why he brought our soul back into human form. We don't want to sit around and wait on that. So we get out here, we get to doing this, doing that, because the world tells us we need this. Our flesh have these desires. I want these things. I see what's going on around here. I see everything. So I want. You see another couple and it look like they beautiful in love because you see pictures online now. You rushing that. You rushing your process for love because of what you see somebody else have that may or may not be what you're really looking for. But because of the illusion that the enemy like to trick us, but because of the illusions of what things look like, we be wanting stuff quick, fast, in a hurry. We want success fast. We don't really want to go through the motions. We say we want to be closer to God, but we don't really want to go through the motions. We say we want to become better people, but we don't want to really go through the motions. We don't want to really give up everything that we know to chase this. We don't want to do it. We don't want to make those certain sacrifices. We want to make the sacrifices that we feel like we should make and not what God feel like we should make. We don't want to wait on God's timing, which is why we get to rushing into relationships that end up flopping. We ignore red flags that can be life or death because we're rushing things. We don't have the patience. You don't want to embrace the change. Okay, God is calling me out of this relationship. This relationship flopped. It didn't work. So we don't want to embrace our single season and let God do his greatest work on you, which he does his greatest works on you in your single season, or at least in a period where you get to have that one-on-one, where you get to think clearly, when you don't have outside influences affecting how you think, when they're controlling your mind. When you're not letting society dictate to you what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, when it should be done by, what you should. If we stop listening to all that outside noise, we won't have so much pressure, so much anxiety, so much depression. But it's because we as humans, we're worried about all that outside noise, that we can't even tap into the Holy Spirit within us. We can't even allow the Holy Spirit to dwell within us for long because we like to get to going back off our flesh. We like to get to going back on the ways of the world because of what we see everybody else doing. You know, I can go in for hours about this because it's just a lot, but I do need to get to reading so I can do this video I need to do for my Bible study. So yeah, you guys, I just want y'all to know, embrace the change. Embrace it, no matter what it looks like. So what if you losing this and that and that? Girl, sir, and woman, embrace it. Embrace the change. See the beauty in it. Appreciate the journey. Okay? So I'll see you guys in the next video. I always end up making the videos longer than I wanted it to be. This was supposed to be like a little quick 10-minute video, and of course it turns into like 30 minutes. But it's all good. Thank you all for your support. Thank you for always supporting me. Make sure y'all like this video. What else they be saying? Look, y'all, I don't know this. I cannot get into the whole like YouTube. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, all of that. But yeah, make sure y'all do all of that. And make sure y'all get your gratitude journal in a link in my description box so you can practice the art of gratitude and you can show God that you're appreciative of what you have so that he can continue to magnify that. Be grateful for the little so you can be blessed with more. Embrace change and show gratitude of how you are grateful for where you are in your life right now. No matter if it's the good, bad, the ugly, be grateful for that season because it's that season that's going to teach you and catapult you into your next level. So until the next time, I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.